Hey everyone, do you know who this is? Do you know who you're looking at right now? The world's richest man, the Amazon CEO, Jeff Bezos. Yes, now he has surpassed Bill Gates. This guy is the richest man alive in the world. According to Forbes, Jeff Bezos has a net worth of $104.4 billion. Whoa. Wow. So everyone's talking about this in the news. Everyone's talking about this guy, the richest man alive. That's a big deal. So when I found out about this, naturally, I go to his Twitter because I want to know what he's talking about. Is he talking about eternal life? No, he's not talking about eternal life. Is he talking about living forever? No. Surely, then, he's got to be talking about life extension, right? No, he's not. Okay. How about death? No? I mean, this guy's supposed to be smart. This guy is supposed to be an intellectual. And he's not talking about the most important subjects? Living forever? He's not talking about the problem of death? He's not talking about indefinite life extension? What's wrong here? What's wrong with this picture? Okay, maybe he's talking about, at least he's got to be talking about curing aging, right? No, he's not even talking about curing aging. This is sad and disappointing. But you know what he's talking about? He's talking about going to space. He's talking about traveling to outer space and making space travel cheap and all this kind of thing. Sounds like he's got his priorities mixed up. From the looks of it, I think this guy is making the same mistake as Elon Musk. Okay? All this focus on space travel and making the human race a multi-planetary species instead of on something that's much more important, which is life extension technology. How are we going to cure aging? How are we going to not die? Isn't that just a bit more important than traveling to space and creating rockets and everything? Look, I get it. Space travel. It's exciting. Wow, cool. I would even say that it's important. Eventually, definitely, we want to be going to outer space because that will solve the overpopulation problem. But space travel is not near as important as living forever and making sure we don't get all these diseases and die from old age. I think it's just a bit more important to focus on life extension. So as with Elon Musk, I think we have another case of one of these intellectuals, quote-unquote intellectuals, who's a bit overrated, a bit overhyped. And he's certainly good at getting money, but he's not smart in the grand scheme of things as far as, trying to focus on the most important issue of all, which is our eternal life, making sure we stay young forever and never die. And I watched a few videos of Jeff Bezos, and he likes to talk about this thing called regret minimization framework.
The way I made the decision to leave Wall Street and do this was, it'll sound geeky to you, but it was a regret minimization framework. So this is how I actually made the decision.
If I understand it, if I can translate that into English I can deal with, does that mean I want to live my life so that in a few decades from now I'm not going to regret it?
That's exactly right. I want to have lived my life in such a way that when I'm 80 years old, I've minimized the number of regrets that I have. And I think actually a lot of people do that. I think even if they don't, call it something as dorky as regret minimization framework, they behave that way anyway. They think that way.
But for you, it was not carpe diem. It was not wine, women, and song.
No. I don't go in for carpe diem. I go in for regret minimization framework. Absolutely.
Where he's trying to imagine himself at 80 years old and basically minimize the amount of regrets he'll have. Well, I think Jeff Bezos might regret not investing more time and energy into solving the problem of old age. Because when he's 80 years old and he's got all these diseases, what's it going to matter if he took people into outer space? Okay, that's not going to matter if he's losing his health and his vitality and he's about to die. Okay? So he's got a very messed up sense of priorities here. He's got to reevaluate everything. He spent $23 million on a pair of mansions. Okay? Because he's trying to make like the biggest house ever. Ridiculous. Just because he's extremely rich, that's not an excuse to be wasting all this money and be so extravagant, while there's literally people dying of starvation. And he's living so selfishly and high on the hog that he is justifying spending $23 million on a pair of mansions. Does he need all that space? No, he doesn't. And this reminds me of a YouTube video I watched where this girl is judging rich people for buying mansions and living such an extravagant, selfish lifestyle. She totally gets what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of this, because this girl is awesome.
We spend so much time trying to buy nicer things and get nicer things and make our already nice houses and apartments look nicer, and we want more and more and more, and it's all just stuff. It's all going to rot away. It's beyond what is morally appropriate. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna call them out on it. It's beyond what is morally appropriate. Nobody needs a mansion. I'm serious. When you have children dying and animals dying, give your head a shake and ask yourself if anybody needs a mansion. Dying, the breath is leaving their lungs. Their eyes are rolling to the back of their head and they are dying. And people are buying homes with 25, 35, 45 rooms?
And this is the right message. We need to be judging these people who live such selfish lives. And yes, I'm a proponent of selfishness, but a good type of selfishness. There is a difference. And there is such a thing as a bad type of selfishness. And that's what this is. That's what we're seeing here, where you're spending $23 million on freaking mansions. This is absurd. I mean, Jeff Bezos. Has he no shame? How can he live with himself to be wasting this kind of money? And maybe he's charitable in some aspects of his life. Maybe, I'm sure he is. He's probably donated to charity. He could do more, though. He doesn't have that Schindler mindset of trying to save every life possible. You know, Schindler, as charitable as he was, as many lives as Schindler saved, he still thought to himself, I could have done more. You know, I could have sold the ring I had. I could have not wasted so much money.
There's been 2 people. This is gold. 2 more people. You would have given me 2 for it. At least 1. You would have given me 1. 1 more. 1 more person. Stand for this. I could have got 1 more person, and I didn't. I didn't.
Well, Jeff Bezos clearly does not care about saving as many lives as he can. No, he's living high on the hog, while other less fortunate people are dying. And for that, we need to judge him. So, let's try to find some redeeming qualities of Jeff Bezos. How about politics? Tell me Jeff Bezos was a Trump supporter. Surely, right? A guy this smart would be a Trump supporter. No, in fact, Jeff Bezos was against Trump. Jeff Bezos wanted Hillary for president. Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, and because he bought the Washington Post, he had all kinds of editorial control, and he had the Washington Post pumping out propaganda articles attacking Trump and promoting Hillary. The Washington Post was extremely biased, and Donald Trump retaliated back.
President Trump going after Amazon again, this time in a series of tweets. He writes, so many stories about me in the Washington Post are fake news. They are as bad as ratings-challenged CNN.
And Jeff Bezos retaliated back. There was this feud between Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos. And why was Jeff Bezos so against Trump? Because Jeff Bezos is a regressive. He's a regressive leftist. Okay, he's a complete cuck. He wants mass immigration. He wants, the refugees. This guy wants refugees flooding into America. This guy wants more migrants coming into America. Jeff Bezos is exactly the type of person that advocates for policies that would destroy Western civilization. And that's why he didn't like Trump, because Trump is a nationalist. Trump wants to build the wall and protect America from foreign hordes of mass migration, right? And when Trump actually did become president, we see that Jeff Bezos pledged to fight Trump's immigration ban in court. And Trump's immigration ban, the whole purpose for that immigration ban was to protect Americans from terrorism, because a lot of the terrorists were coming over from those countries that were on the immigration ban list, those Middle Eastern countries. That's where the terrorists were being created, and they were coming over. And Trump was just trying to protect us. So Jeff Bezos is a complete cuck.
You like it when I say, Cuck.
All right, so we know Jeff Bezos is a cuck. But as far as the life extension issue, I spoke too soon.
A very important question. What does day 2 look like? What does day 2 look like? I know the answer to this. Day 2 is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating, painful decline, followed by death. And that is why it is always day 1. Thank you, you guys.
So after I watched that video, I was like, okay, this guy clearly doesn't like the idea of death and aging. He's got to be into life extension. So I did some more research. I stumbled across this article. Can human mortality really be hacked? And this article says, Amazon's Jeff Bezos invested some of his fortune in South San Francisco-based utility biotechnology, which has been targeting cell senescence in animal trials and hopes to begin human trials next year. Human drug trials next year. So clearly, he's into life extension. He's investing money in a company that seeks to cure aging. So I was totally wrong.
I'm stupid, you're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that now.
Of course. And if you're as rich as Jeff Bezos, of course you want to hold on to life because you're rich and you have all this money. So it just makes sense. It's adding up now. And then this same article talks about Peter Thiel. We know Peter Thiel's into living forever. I love Peter Thiel. He was actually a supporter of Trump. Freaking love this guy. All right. Now, Peter Thiel is an example of a true intellectual, a true smart guy right here. Oh, probably my favorite person in the life extension movement, if I had to say. I mean, just look at that face. This guy's smart. You can tell. Just look at that face. I'm serious. Look at it. Look at it. Just look at it.
Just look at that.
I can't pull it out either. I'd have to drill it.
Why don't you just look at it?
Yeah, it's set. It's the only mark.
I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, just get a look at that.
A cop did that.
A cop. Oh, where is he? I'd like to look at him.
Yeah, I went over and tried to fight it.
Yeah.
They told me we're not required to post warnings here in New Jersey.
Oh, would you look at that?
Doesn't he look smart? Doesn't this guy look like a freaking genius? Yeah, it's because he is a genius. So, upon further investigation, I found even further confirmation that I was wrong about Jeff Bezos, and he actually does want to cure aging. This article says, Jeff Bezos and Peter Thiel, billionaires eager to stretch our lives, or at least their own, to a span that Thiel has pinpointed as forever. See, I haven't heard Jeff Bezos mention forever. You know, Peter Thiel's actually talked about living forever in interviews and such. Jeff Bezos has not. So Peter Thiel's even more into life extension than Jeff Bezos. And then another article I found says Jeff Bezos has just invested in a company called Unity Biotechnology that is targeting cellular mechanisms at the root of age-related diseases. So then I did a YouTube search for Unity Biotechnology, and I found this TED Talk of the CEO. And most definitely, this company is looking into curing aging, very similar to Sense, very similar to Google Calico. So that's great news. I'm glad that Jeff Bezos has actually invested in a company that is trying to do, that is trying to cure aging. Now, I don't think the company's doing a good job. Just like with all these companies, they're all failing miserably to do what they should be doing. They're not researching all the supplementation, for instance, that could be extending our lives. Everything that's available right now that we could be doing. Okay? Like, they're looking for some kind of drug or something that they're trying to... That's great. And they're into gene engineering and everything. I do think we need to be researching and looking into all of that. But these companies aren't researching the types of things we could be doing right now as far as the supplements and the herbs. And they always neglect the natural herbal medicine that's been around for a long time. Because they're looking to profit off of this life extension at the end of the day. That's why they neglect the natural therapies and the natural substances we could be taking right now. Like CBD oil, for instance. Where's the research being done on CBD oil for anti-aging? And I could name 10 other supplements with a huge potential benefit for anti-aging that are being completely neglected, completely ignored. And I will be making videos on these supplements, the supplements I think are the most powerful ones that we could be taking right now. And a lot of this stuff is just very cheap as well. And they're just normal minerals and vitamins that you can't patent. And that's why they're not talking about this stuff. That's why they're not researching it, because you can't make a bunch of money off of it. So all these companies have just a huge blind spot. But at least they're doing something. At least they're trying. They're making an effort, as pathetic as it is. Anyways, watching this TED Talk, I found my friend Maria Konovalenko in the audience. How cool is that? She's awesome. I interviewed her too. I'll put the link for that in the description. My interview with Maria Konovalenko. She's a very serious Eternal Life fan. Alright, so what can we take away from this? Well, we can add Jeff Bezos onto the ever-growing list of elite billionaires that want to live forever. Mark Zuckerberg, Ray Kurzweil. Alright, the guy understands the importance of extending life. Now, the cuck thing still stands, okay? He's a cuck. But at least he's a cuck that probably he wants to live forever, let's face it. And who wouldn't? I don't give people that much credit for wanting to live forever. It's obvious that we should want to live forever. Anyways, that's it. This has been a report by the Eternal Life Fan Club. And making this video took me about 15 hours of research and editing, so if you would like, you can donate to me to help compensate for my time. I definitely enjoyed making the video, but I would definitely appreciate any donations if anyone wants to give. Now, I love being poor, alright? I love being poor, but I could do great stuff if I had money. I could be like Schindler and use that money to save lives or something. I would do something good with it, trust me. Or I would start my own anti-aging research facility, I'd doing my own mice experiments to find which supplements extend life the most and which type of diet is the best for longevity, and I would really want to become like a mad anti-aging scientist and do more research, and that kind of thing takes money. So if you could help me out, that'd be great. So that offer there is on the table if you want it, okay? May you live forever.
You like it when I say,